The new Winter Village Santa's Post Office was just released this week, and I know we were excited to pick it up. Now, many people are wondering how it would look next to some other Winter Village sets, and that's where we can be of help. So if you're interested in how it would look, and if you want to maybe buy this set to put on display with your other ones, sit back, relax, and check out these videos and photos. We'll start with some recent sets. Since many of you might already have the Alpine Lodge from last year, here it is next to the Santa's Post Office. I'm not a huge fan of this combination, as the Lodge is a hardier build at 2 full stories compared to the Post Office, which is slightly longer but doesn't have a second story across the entire facade. It's not that the scales are all that different, but the bulkiness just doesn't quite match. That said, I do kind of like it a little bit, but maybe not as much as the Main Street buildings, which match up a little bit better. I would expect that we have the multi-level shops here and they would be larger than something like a post office. However, there is some synergy between the vertical paneling on the toy store and that found on the post office. Now here's another view of the Main Street and the post office combination, this time separating the commercial establishments and placing them on either side of the post office. I'm not a huge fan of this since the music shop and the toy store belong together, but I definitely like how the Main Street buildings look next to the post office. I will also add that the trolley looks like it would go nicely circling around this brand new post office. For display purposes, I also want to show you what this looks like next to some of the winter gifts with purchase, such as the gingerbread house and the Charles Dickens display. And honestly, it's not too bad. The gingerbread house is a bit small, but if you place it on the left-hand side of the post office, it matches the entrance very well. The Christmas Carol set also looks nice, but maybe not quite as strong here as the gingerbread house. I don't have a picture of it, but the house also looks good on the right-hand side of the post office as well. Speaking of the gingerbread house, here we have the large one, which is among my favorite Winter Village sets of all time. Now here I've placed it to the left of the post office. The peaked roofs go together nicely, and the prevalence of medium nougat pieces tie them together well. The house is a bit larger than the post office, but not overwhelmingly so. This reminds me of a small town feel where you might have a post office in the middle of a village surrounded by some homes, maybe some larger country style homes, and it's kind of like a village near us called Gates Mills. But check this out. Now to the right of the post office, I placed the toy shop. That's the toy shop version 2.0. They look fantastic together. Their sizes, the roof styles, and their chimneys mesh extremely well, and adding a bunch of the accessories added a lot to the ambiance of the display. This combination is definitely among one of my favorites, and I'm glad that we have this older style Winter Village set to go with the new one. Of course, what Winter Village display would be complete without a train? Adding the Winter Village train increases the festivity of the display, and these 4 sets would look fantastic on a table or a large shelf, or maybe even under a Christmas tree for your kids to play with. The prominence of the toy shop Christmas tree means there's plenty of room for all the gifts that come with a variety of these sets, and the myriad evergreen trees almost make me long for our Northeast Ohio winters. Almost, but not quite. Of course, we also have some old school Winter Village sets, such as the bakery, and yes, the OG Winter Village post office itself from way back in 2011. The bakery is a great combination for Santa's post office. Just look at this. The frozen pond may not be quite as nice as that found in the Alpine Lodge, but the bakery itself is nice and it's cozy, sitting next to Santa's post office. The snow coverage works well juxtaposed with the thicker roofs of the new set, and the size of the bakery itself just meshes extremely well with what we have with the post office, and the roof of the bakery goes well with the right hand side of the post office as well. Now, I can't say the same for the original post office, which I want to add, I didn't put the stickers on there so you don't see the emblem of the post office that matches that used in Santa's post office. One reason for this is that the original post office lacks the thoroughly snowy roof peaks of the more modern set. Now, the size of the original is also a little squished together next to the new one, and the tan color looks a bit dull in comparison. But I will say that mail truck is still fantastic to this day and is far superior than the one that just came out this week. Now, don't forget this sign right here that shows you where the two other elf-based sets belong in your layout. You've got Santa's Workshop, which really works nicely with the post office, as it should. There might be a bit of a size discrepancy, but I like how they both have those slanted candy cane type elements. Now, the clubhouse, on the other hand, well, actually, I don't have that. I did randomly have some clubhouse crackers, but those don't really work too well in a Lego display, as, well, you can see right here. So there you have it, the Santa's Post Office brand new Winter Village set next to some other recent and older Winter Village sets. I will say this looks really nice next to a lot of them and will work very well in your Winter Village display. In particular, I want to give a shout out to the bakery, the toy shop, the gingerbread house, and Santa's Workshop as all working very nicely with this one. I think the Alpine Lodge doesn't quite work as well. This one right here, the Main Street, works decently well, but I think the others that I mentioned earlier would do a better job with that. One final note, I do have 3 other Winter Village sets that are not built. The Santa's Visit, which came out in 2021, I haven't built it since I took it apart a few years ago, but I think that one would look really nicely with this because of the way that they've got the angles in that set and the roofs match nicely here. I think the Cottage that came out years ago, I think in 2012, doesn't work quite as well because it is such a large set. The scale might be a little too big. That house just might dominate this post office. The third one that I have that I did not build is the Winter Village Markets, the one with the carousel and all of that. That, I think, is a fantastic Winter Village set when you have others like this, that you can take those different kiosks and the carousel and the little things that go with it and spread them throughout your Winter Village. So I think that one wasn't really designed to go with any one particular set, but just kind of fill in some of those gaps in your Winter Village. So there you go, that's what this looks like. If you're interested in picking this up and you were waiting to find out more about how it looks, that's hopefully something you learned in this video. We are going to be dropping a review of this set in a little bit, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. If you think this looks really good next to other sets that I didn't think looked great, by all means, comment down below. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and always remember to keep building together.